It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. Now, if you're going to be, having a revolution, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be having some fun, I hope, because if you're not, you're doing it wrong. And one of the things is, I got Zak Carter on. Now, Zak Carter's got an interesting story, just all by his lonesome, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But he's doing an event called RockTheRevolutionTour.com. Now, the motivation behind this, Dr. Paul, he understands. The boy's been around a while, so he understands what's necessary. What are some of the necessary ingredients there, Mr. Zak Carter?
Yeah, just like Ron Paul said himself, that it takes two things to really have a revolution: young people and music. That's a quote right from the man himself. And so I'm just helping bring that into reality here with Rock the Revolution Tour. Okay.
Now let's go ahead and as I do a little bit of research on you, I knew you were a veteran. I knew you were in Iraq. I knew that you had a little to do with the military and so on. But what I didn't know is you were in the military during Kosovo also. So, so that makes you, you're in your late 30s or something, right?
Yeah, I'm 39.
Okay, now here is, I get to call you young man because I'm 50. But, what happens is you're in Kosovo at a young age. I would imagine you just went in the military and you're already doing this peacekeeping blue beret UN wearing kind of crap. And, what
NATO.
What was your experience? Oh, yeah, okay, NATO. What was your experience in Kosovo? What did you learn there that got added to in Iraq? What was, by the time you got to Iraq, did you already get what was going on, or what? Give us a little bit of history of yourself.
Yeah, I still hadn't woken up until later on. But my experience in Kosovo, it led to my awakening. When I was there, I was doing my unit's mission. I was in an infantry unit, and our primary mission was primarily border patrol with Macedonia. And so we had ammunition to defend ourselves, and we apprehended people who were crossing illegally on a semi-regular basis. And at the time, it was 2001, so I wasn't a really young man. According to all the other guys, I was 10 years older than all the other young soldiers, and they called me Grandpa in basic because I was 28 years old. But,
wow.
Yeah.
So I really want to get an answer to this specific question. Did you think things were broke when you were in Kosovo?
I really no, I didn't. I really wasn't awake yet, and it was a series of 3 steps that led to my awakening. And that didn't come till later.
Well, I got time. Step 1 was?
Yeah, step 1 was after Iraq, actually, in 2003. I had nagging things that I didn't want to think about while I was in Iraq and after. But step 1 was really coming home to my home base in Georgia at Fort Stewart, and then taking a civilian flight for the first time since 9/11, and being treated by the TSA like I was a criminal. essentially. And I had my Class A dress uniform on. I wanted to look good for my family, and to be treated the way they treated me, it didn't sit right with me at all. I'd been told, going over to Iraq to fight for our freedoms, and then coming home and visibly seeing that I had less. I didn't have a Fourth Amendment right anymore if I wanted to get on a civilian airplane. And so that was the first step of my awakening. And then the second one, it played into what I experienced in Kosovo directly, because I left active duty not long after Iraq, and I joined the reserves, the Army Reserves, and I was in a drill sergeant unit. I was a range cadre. I didn't go to drill sergeant school. So my job in the summer was to train recruits and college cadets how to usually put on the M16 line. And the summer of 2007, I looked into getting transferred to a National Guard unit along the Mexican-U.S. border. And to do that, you have to do paperwork, and you have to be in contact with people there who can sign off on you transferring. And when I talked to them and I learned that they didn't have the authority to apprehend people and they didn't have ammunition to defend themselves, and I thought back, okay, when I was in Kosovo, we did all that, and we can do that job in a foreign country, and we can't defend our own. That became, it was, I couldn't wrap my head around, okay, why am I in the Army if I can't defend my own country? And so I was open to a new message. I was open to essentially what would be presented to me. My wife, the third step, she showed me a Ron Paul video, and by the end of this video, she showed me I was in tears.
What was the video?
It was a video that I think it was made by somebody who was calling them Avaroth on YouTube, and it was just, I couldn't ignore the truth of what Ron Paul was saying in the video. And he was talking about, our foreign policy and the things that, I had participated in myself. And I still get choked up about it today.
Well, the things that you've done, and you say I participated, how much participation? Is it things that you thought you were doing in the name of, and you're just going, no? Or was it more a general thing or specific to you?
My unit was, I was Charlie Company, 3-7 Infantry, 3rd Infantry Division, and I was an infantryman, and my unit was the first, maybe not the first, but one of the first units to the airport in Baghdad. And and then beyond that, all the suppressing the looting, and then supposedly suppressing the insurgency, and nobody should experience what I did, and and that's why I'm so passionately anti-war today.
Well, it's more, a lot of people don't understand, it's not just the pain inflicted that you do. It's how it's perceived by the people that are the recipients of it. It's also the corrosive effect it has on you as an individual. I mean, when you're being oppressive, tyrannical, occupation, torture, all this other stuff, they're always going on about, how bad it is for the person you're doing it to, without even any regard to how it affects the people doing it. And from your perspective, do you think that you've come out of this relatively, sane, or do you have emotional and intellectual and spiritual scars, from this still? Are they healing? How are you doing?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can go through something like that and not have some kind of scarring. I lost friends, and that'll always be with me.
Yeah, and this, your efforts in the Levolution and your support of Dr. Paul, or however you want to put it, is this healing for you?
Definitely. And that's why I throw myself so intensely into it. and since I was introduced to politics and back in 2007, 2008, I've worked on a few congressional campaigns and really learned how I can best contribute, and I'm just glad I'm here and glad that I can help advance the message of peace, and not just by supporting Ron Paul, but by getting on radio shows and TV myself, and letting people know that I'm a veteran, of a combat veteran that supports this foreign policy that Ron Paul is behind, because it's the right thing to do, and because it's where we need to go.
Well, this kind of effort. This is a big undertaking. I mean, and you have a lot of people to do. I mean, the logistics on this, it's a lot more difficult than people realize to do something like this, and you're going to have fits and starts and this, that. But I mean, how's it coming together? I mean, you able to really, start putting. When's your first event?
On the 15th. It's coming right up on October 15th. And yeah, I could not do this. I couldn't do something of this magnitude if I hadn't been able to put together the amazing team of entertainment industry insiders. Most of them are either own their own entertainment companies or are in management in entertainment companies. A few of them are small business owners, but one of them owns a skate and surf shop, and he often hosts concerts, so he has contacts. We do have a few artists who are regional coordinators, but they know the ins and outs of the business also. And I could not be doing this without their help and without other help from all kinds of people, just a wide spectrum of wonderful individuals. It's so true that liberty brings us all together. The freedom message, it unites.